So the first thing I would like to know is what do you expect for the show here in Argentina? I don't know if you ever came here.
No, I've been to South America, but not Argentina.
Okay, so what do you expect for the show?
If it's like Brazil, then I expect a very noisy show.
You already heard about our special audience. You know, we are the best audience in the world, and that's
Uh,
story.
well, you're gonna have to show me that.
Okay, okay. So I guess you already told the story many times, but I would like to know how did you meet Amy, and how did you
Da-
find her?
so-
Uh,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Gallo, ¿estás grabando? Pues yo no estoy grabando acá, ¿eh?
Sí, sí,
Yo no
estoy
escuché.
grabando, estoy grabando.
I'm
Sí,
sorry.
sí, sí.
I met Amy at an audition. I didn't when I first met her. She had already chosen the bass player that was there before me, so I didn't really get a chance to speak to her, even though I'd seen her before in a club beforehand. And then the bass player couldn't do it because he was working for different artists. And then they called me in. So that's when I first met Amy in August 2003.
And you already knew about her talent, or you discovered her talent there?
Um, well, I when I heard the audition tapes a couple of months beforehand or a month beforehand, yeah, I could hear the talent. But then when I started working with her after 2 weeks, I realized that she was very special.
And what was that thing that make her special?
Well, I was doing a concert with her after 2 weeks, and we were playing in a carnival in England and in London. And it's not the easiest place to play, but after half a show, people started to turn up. By the end of the show, she sang with so much power that I said to her that you didn't need a band there. You know, she was that good.
Mhm. Because England has a lot of female talent in music, but she, from the first album, she's stand out of the ordinary singer, if you know what I mean. Uh,
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I think on the first album, she wrote a lot of great songs. In fact, she was probably more experimental with her voice on the first album, whereas with Frank, she tried to keep it simple, even though it's quite a complex sounding. It's very simple sounding record, but it's very complex to play. Um, but there aren't many singers like her. You know, she's a once in a generation singer. Um, what was the question again? You were asking.
no, what was the thing that make her special, or which was the talent she had?
Yeah, so I think lyrically and being able to sing, she combined the two, and she had a very improvisational approach to music. So she was she didn't really she wasn't a very technical person, so she learned everything through herself. You know, she
Mhm.
just had a great ability to absorb. So she's just one of those talents who could sing and sing great lyrics and sing with great power as well. And to improvise night after night, she was given a lot every night.
Okay, so I guess it was, the in music, they are the technical singers and the ones who sings from the heart. The, she was like that.
Yes, definitely. And she sang from the heart every night. And I think in some ways that contributed to the burnout.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh, yeah. And when did you realize that the burnout was coming?
uh, I first, I think around March 2007. We'd been going for about 8 months and we still had another 6 weeks to go. And I remember saying to Amy, I said, it's okay, Amy, you've just got another 6 weeks. And I could see that it was a lot for her at that point because it's very intense the way she sang, um, and she was trying to get her private life together as well. So it wasn't the easiest time. And I think that's when things started to become a bit more erratic.
Hmm. I guess stories like that we heard a lot in the industry of music. Uh, And I guess it's like a cursing and a bless at the same time, because
Yeah,
you desire a career with sold out shows and the radio playing your songs, but it comes with a cost. You have to pay
yeah,
with your
totally.
health, maybe.
Yeah, and I think being on the road, uh, it's a very tough thing. I think once you get tired from being on the road, then it's not so easy to get back. You know, you can't necessarily get back on the straight and narrow. I think, yeah, being on the road is a difficult thing, and I think definitely after a year or so, you could see the tiredness first appear, even though everything was great for another 6 months. But then I could see the tiredness appear in March 2007. And when you get tired on the road, the demons come out. And that's unfortunately one of the things that you have to put up with. The industry, it's a difficult industry in the fact that they can't do it in a way to make it beneficial to the person. You know, they're just sending you out. That's not a complaint. When you're young, you're looking forward to it, it's great. But then the most tiring thing is the traveling, you know.
Hmm. But it's the nature of the game that you, as a musician, as a touring musician, can have a holiday or a time off.
Well, you can, but no. Well, it depends. It depends. I never turn down work as a freelance musician. I've never turned down. I can't, you know. And this year I've got a very busy. The band's got a very busy schedule right through till the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know, we've just come off a month, 5 weeks in France, Germany, Austria, and then we're going to Turkey in 2 days, and then the week after we're coming to see you for 3 weeks, and then we go to Holland for a week, and then we've got a week after a festival. We're into festival seasons right through to August, and then October, November, December, we're out for the whole time. So you just have to follow the work, or follow the you know the way that the dates are, but you don't get any regularity. That's the thing. I don't get a regular holiday. I can't plan for a holiday. It always has to be last minute, you know.
Okay. Would you say what happened here was avoidable or inevitable?
I think it's a very difficult thing to say. I think with the industry, the way it is, and no matter what steps you take, there's always going to be someone who slips through the net. You know, it's very hard to say whether who's to blame for that. I think some people's demons are just too great, you know, unfortunately.
Hmm. And I guess it's difficult to help because you are playing with her, you're touring around the world, you see her suffering, but I don't know if you or anyone around her had the elements to help her.
Everyone tried to help. You know, a lot of people accuse us, the band, of not being able to help, but you know, there's a hierarchy.
Yeah.
You know, it's not necessarily as much as we try and help. We're not really in the position to do that. It's that, you know, and the record company, the management, the family, they all try to help.
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on now. I don't know if I interrupt you.
No. They all try to help. You know.
Okay.
So
When you tour around the world nowadays with the music of Amy Winehouse, what's the reaction of the people around the world when they listen again to those songs?
yeah, the reaction's been fantastic, and you know, it's still a great show. We've got a great singer, and we try and keep it as authentic as possible. So it's going to be the closest experience you'll get to being on stage with Amy.
Yeah. And in which song the people go mad?
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. I'm not going to say now. I'm going to wait for the audience to do it. I'm going to wait for my own.
Spoil me a little, please.
Are you coming to the show?
Yeah.
You'll see then.
Okay.
If it's the same in South America as it is in Europe, then I'll be very. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to see if it is the same song.
Be prepared for a sing along.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting.
Okay. So I was going to ask, what's the definitive Amy song?
Well, there's so many. I think yeah, there's so many. Definitely on the Back to Black album, people know that more than the first album. The younger generation, they know Frank, So, and because for a lot of youngsters, Frank isn't so dark as an album as Back to Black, so they prefer to listen to that. So, yeah, you're going to get. It'd be interesting to see who's listened to what.
Okay, and which was your input on those records? You were, if I'm not wrong, the musical director of the band.
Yeah, so the albums were always recorded beforehand. When I first joined, Frank was being finished by Salam Remy, so he did the whole album. And then when she had the year off to try and write and stuff like that, she went over to America with Mark and did half the album with them, and then did the other half with Salam. So we just we do our own interpretation of the records. Some of them we stick to, some of them we don't. Especially on the Frank album, a lot of it wasn't really made for live performances, so we created our own thing.
Okay. So, how much did you change the original song to the show, to the song of the show?
On Frank, there was a lot of changes. On Back to Black, not so much, because the songs are more definite.
Okay. So, and there were no room for improvisation there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, and there'll be plenty of solos and stuff like that.
Okay. So, talking about her as a voice of a generation, which would you say is her legacy?
Well, a true artist who meant every word she said. She sang and she meant all those words. So if you've got someone like that, you just touch everyone. She just touches so many people.
And you too. You were touched by her?
Yeah, definitely. We had a great relationship. So it's an honor to be able to carry on this, even though for me, it will always be bittersweet. She's not here, but it's an honor to be part of her legacy.
Yeah, and that bittersweet feeling, it goes away with the time when you are playing, or every time you start the show, the bitterness comes around again.
Well, it's not bitter it's just sadness. I'd say more sadness, more than bitter. There's no bitterness there. It's just sad that she's not here. I'm always very good at listening to Amy. If I hear her on the radio, but if I see her face, then the emotions are definitely different. So, and I appreciate that. The reason why I'm doing this is because she's not here. So whilst I don't think of her, 24/7, I think about her every day, because she, the reason I'm being interviewed, that's going to trigger my thoughts again. Do you see what I mean? So she never leaves me. And when she was alive, I used to think about her every day, and it's not changed since she's passed.
Okay. So, here and there, I talk with musicians that make these, let's call it tribute shows.
Yeah.
And there's always this discussion of why do you keep doing this? And my idea is you're playing songs that are not played anymore because she's not here with us, so she can do it. And people need to still listen to these songs live. Do you agree?
Yeah, totally. And I think we're moving into a different thing now, because you've got straight tributes, and then you've got a lot of people now who used to play in the band with the artist, and the artist isn't here. So you've got a different genre altogether, people. So you're going to get a different feeling. I know Prince's band goes out, George Michael band, even Queen without Freddie Mercury, they've got to get someone else in. So it's that sort of thing. And I think that's moving into a different territory now. It's definitely needed, because, say, for example, the only way I learned to get into the Beatles was when I went to see the bootleg Beatles. Do you understand? So sometimes it's important to see a great band songs being performed at a certain time in their lives, So I think it is definitely important, and we're getting more and more into it now. It's like a modern form of classical music, isn't it?
Yeah. And I guess it's at the same time inspirational for the new generations.
Totally. And say, for example, last year the Back to Black movie came out. There's a lot of young people who've seen the film and they want to come and see the show, So that's as close as they'll ever get.
Yeah. Dale, thank you very much for your time. Hope to see you here in Buenos Aires during the show.
Yeah, you're going to come to the show?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, nice to meet you, Santiago. Take care.
Nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.